Hi, good day everyone. Have you ever imagined how a Western film is produced in Japan? I don't think many people are interested in such a topic, but today I'm going to take you to episode 109 from the TV film KEYHUNTER, aired in 1970. I want to highlight a primary character, Shinichi Chiba, also known as JJ Sonu Chiba, and a secondary character, Hiroyuki Sanada, who was 9 years old at the time. This episode was KEYHUNTER's first action film designed like a Western movie, featuring Chiba's vigorous movements with nimble music. The writer was Yuichi Ikeda, and the director was Ryuichi Takamori. The project was collaborated by Chuchan Farm and Hotel Mount Fuji in Shizuoka Prefecture, Japan, which provided significant set locations. It was one of the milestones which well synthesized emotional complexities among an 8-year-old boy, his father, and a man who investigated the assassination. Hideo Murata played the role of a man in a ruthless underworld. The story depicts Kazama's mixed feelings about the crime, the criminal's emotion, and the sentiments around the boy. The main filming location was the Chuchan Farm near the foothill of Mount Fuji, approximately 100 kilometers west of Tokyo by Tomei Expressway. It's a middle of nowhere characterized by the surrounding expanse of woods and plains. Now, let's get there together. Here's an overview of episode 109. Please note, the whole story is fictitious. All events, characters, and affairs discussed in the episode are not real. 8 years before, a group of 14 globally renowned pacifists came to Japan and were all assassinated. The assassin wasn't arrested yet, leaving one piece of information that the gun used in the assassination was gold-colored. The same gun was used to kill another 4 pacifists after 8 years. The KEYHUNTERs were assembled to crack the case. The leader of the KEYHUNTERs questioned why the hell the gold gun was involved after 8 years. Meanwhile, Kazama found a drawing of a gold gun in a children's magazine. Kazama guessed that the child saw the gun actually and drew it on paper because of the traumatic impact from seeing the actual gun. The boy, whose name is Akira, was living with his father on a ranch. To see Akira, Kazama got dressed in a gunman's attire, pretending to be a lonesome stranger, and went to see him on the ranch with a 4x4 drive. The 4x4 Kazama drove was a Mitsubishi Jeep produced from 1956 to 1970. Chuchan Farm was located inside the Japan Self-Defense Forces estate, and it was blocked from commercial use. In 1953, an entrepreneur obtained permission from government and started dairy business. When the KEYHUNTER was filmed in 1970, there was a variety of livestock. As of 2024, Chuchan Farm has shut down its farm business, and it's been used as a camping site. The founder passed away in 2023, and the new business owner decided to withdraw completely by autumn 2024. The property has to be cleared before it is returned to the government. It is unfortunate to lose a rare filming location of the 1970s, but the situation is challenging for the owner to keep operating in this agricultural area. This barn was used for Kazama's walking scene, where he walked on the rooftop to approach the attic window. However, there was another similar barn house next to it, which was abandoned recently. This barn X was evidently captured in the film. The barn X was present in 2016. The farm owner destroyed it when they started the camping business. The farm owner also said he remembered when it was filmed 50 years ago, and mentioned that scene was taken on barn X, not on the existing one. Still, with some evidence, I am confident that the scene was taken on this existing barn based on the research I did beforehand. Let's take a look at these 3 pictures. Although the shape is different, a small hut next to the barn is detected in both present and past pictures. A roof dormer exists in the film and the present barn, but it's not there on barn X. Also, the small windows are found in the upper part of the walls of the existing and filmed barn, but not on barn X. Again, windows of the lower part of barn X are different from those seen in the film. Something I noticed was the difference in the number of ventilations between the filmed and existing barns. 3 ventilations are seen in the film, but there are only 2 at the existing one. You can see Mount Fuji in the background of the filmed barn. I could not check this on the day I visited, because it was cloudy. I was standing on the south side of the barn and looking towards north. Let's take a look at the aerial photo of the region. You can find Mount Fuji located further northwest of the barn. Therefore, if the weather was okay, Mount Fuji would be seen behind the barn just like in the film. By contrast, Barn X must have been photographed from the north. Because of the existing barn on the south side, it's not possible to shoot like this picture. You cannot see Mount Fuji anyway. Taking all these into consideration, I conclude that Kazama's rooftop rolling action was taken on the existing barn. If I have an opportunity, I'll get back to the owner and ask about the missing ventilation and make sure if his memory is correct.
前屋根の上を中心の背骨に沿って、先ほどの奥の、通風口、ベンチレーションがあったあたりから、今この、屋根のちょうど中心のこちらの端に、這うようにして、歩いてきます。下の中の窓の中、建物の中に覗き込もうとするわけです。それは確かにこの場所だったと思われるんですがね。
Kazama crawled over the rooftop and reached the edge. He tried to look through the window just below him. This action must be too hard to do. If I did it, even though my body is secured on the roof, I'd feel as if I dropped my head down to the ground. It seems most of the components of the barn remain the same since 50 years ago. However, the originally wooden-made windows were updated with an aluminum-based window. Also in front of this barn, Kazama and Kudo had a fierce debate over Kudo's decision to take the assassination order. The elongated tip of the roof edge matches. Other components seem to be the same between the two pictures. The existence of the dormer is clearly recognized in both pictures. By contrast, the Barn X is not equipped with this dormer. Dormers can be added or removed after the barn is constructed. Therefore, whether or not the dormer is there may not be sufficient to tell that they are identical. There's a concrete wall by the barn. This abandoned wall may look similar to the one where Kazama stashed himself and gazed at the Kudo family having Akira's birthday party inside the house. However, it's also hard to say if this wall is the same as the one in the film. The steel part sticking out from the concrete looks the same, but their figures may not exactly match. The wall behind Kazama shows a vertical streak line. By contrast, the streak line of the existing wall is obviously horizontal. In case this wall is the same as the one in the film, the scene that Kazama was looking at should be like this. The next spot is not too far from the present barn. This time I will approach the barn from the opposite side. In the early stage of the episode, the first interaction of Kazama and Akira took place around here. I was a great fan of Sony Chiba, but I also got some impacts from Hiroyuki Sanada when I was a little kid. I was 7 years old when I first watched this TV. Chiba was an adult, and I had a sense of age distance between him and I. Sanada was close to me, and he was easy to imitate. Soon after he learned that Kazama joined the farm, Akira said to him, "I'm not assured yet. You're a nomadic, easy come, easy go type of man." The next week, I said this to an elder college student in my neighborhood. He terribly scolded me. I don't remember why he was so angry. This spot was also used in the KEYHUNTER film. There was a red backhoe parked near this location. It was probably there on the lower right corner of the image. To the direction of slightly left from the point I'm standing, I can see the abandoned concrete where Kazama may have stood and stashed himself. Further left, or northeast, the once existed Barn X was captured in the KEYHUNTER film. Today, it's completely gone. Going further into the farm, there used to be an iconic pair of silos. One of the silos failed during an earthquake some years ago, and the owner of the farm destroyed the rest of the silo and cleared everything. I came across one of the staff members who seemed to have been hired recently. He didn't even recognize the name of silo.
今の、こちらので働いている人だと思うんですけど、あまり昔のことはご存じないような印象でした。サイロといってそのサイロが何であるのかも、お分かりいただけなかったのと、聞いてもおおよそそれがどういうものなのかを説明していたところはそういうものがあったという記憶が定かな記憶がなかったみたいです。ただ僕の調べによるとそのサイロがあったポイントはこの、小道、実際にはこれはもう獣道みたいにこう草もこういろいろ生えていて、とても車が通るような状況の道とは思えないんですが、でも形的には車がここかつて通ったことがあると、見ても差し支えないようなそういう広さと、こう鳴らされた感というのがあるんですよね。ここは風間が運転する、三菱ジープ、これが颯爽と遠くの、あちらの方の付近、おおよそこの辺りにサイロがあったと思うんですけど、そこから颯爽と、走らせてこの方向へこうずっと進みます。そして納屋ですね。今あるこの納屋、この一つ手前にもう一つ同じぐらいのサイズの納屋があったということなんですが、その納屋に横付けするような格好で車は止まります。現在ではこの場所はキャンプ場として使われているので、こういうふうに平坦にこうちょっとこう鳴らされているようなこの場所はおそらくキャンプテントを張るためにあえてこのようにしている。
A picture of two silos were exhibited at Chuchan Gallery. The words behind the silos seemed to match the current outline of the words in front of the point I was standing. Therefore, the silos may have existed around here.
これだったらテント張れそうだな。遠くに例の納屋が見えます。こういう角度から撮ったシーンもいくつかあったと思うんですけど、でも撮影したカメラがあった場所はここかどうかはわからないですね。もうちょっとこちら側の、向かってこれは何て言ったら北西に寄った位置から撮られたんじゃないかと思います。車が走る音がしたのがこの今の川のような未舗装道路だったかな。道路と呼べるのかどうかで、フューム管みたいなものが、使われてないと放置されてる感じですよね。よく電柱とかに使われる素材、フューム管というコンクリート素材なんですが、これがコンクリートのドラマの中に登場したりはしています。第一にこれじゃどうしようもないな。
In the last cut of the episode, Kazama and Akira mourned Kudo in front of his grave, and it was somewhere around here. The last location I wanted to visit was the unpaved road in the prairie where Kazama drove his jeep to approach the farm. However, things are all different today. Many of the elements have been changed. The exact location of the Prairie Road was not found. Presumably, it was around here. Finally, I dropped by a hotel used as a set location for episode 109. Kazama had a meeting at Hotel Mount Fuji to discuss the strategies with one of his associates, Shima Ryuji, played by Hayato Tani. Kazama drove his jeep to this location in a gunman's dress. "50 years ago, Hotel Mount Fuji was introduced as being located within approximately 1-hour drive from Tokyo via Chuo Express Highway. Today, traffics are much heavier and the expressway can easily get congested. It is likely that it take more than 2 hours to get here from Tokyo by car." Throughout this location visit, I may possibly say that I virtually experienced traveling with Chiba and Sanada altogether, but that's impossible. It never happens. If you want to make a fantastic Western movie videos, you can do that if you just go to Arizona, New Mexico, or the areas around Grand Canyon. Back in 70s, film producers were probably doing that by utilizing everything that exists in Japan to fill in for any necessary elements to make it like a Western movie concerning the low budget. If you like it, you can enjoy watching various 70s movies on Toei Channel. The channel often reruns KEYHUNTER and other similar dramas as well. I recommend you to check that out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like it.